There's a dangerous illusion most men live under. It's the belief that betrayal announces itself. It doesn't. It disguises itself as loyalty. And by the time you recognize the disguise, you're already exposed. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. If someone in your life was slowly studying you, mapping your weaknesses, positioning themselves for advantage, would you see it? Or would you defend them? That's how infiltration works. The knife never comes from the front. If it did, you'd brace yourself. You'd prepare. You'd counter. But you weren't preparing. You were laughing, sharing vulnerabilities, lowering your guard. And that's why it succeeded. Strangers cannot dismantle you. They don't know where you're fragile. Only someone inside your circle can do that. And here's the part most men avoid admitting. You opened the gate. Why? Because you assumed loyalty instead of verifying it. Over 500 years ago, in the political chaos of Florence, Niccolò Machiavelli dissected power the way a surgeon dissects flesh. He didn't describe morality. He described strategy. And his warning was cold. If you assume loyalty without testing it, you deserve the surprise. But here's what most people miss. Disloyalty has patterns. Not loud ones. Microsignals. Behavioral leaks. And once your eyes adjust, you start noticing them everywhere. There are 3 patterns that expose a hidden threat. And as you hear them, someone's face will surface in your mind. Don't ignore that. The first sign, the premature confessor. This one feels intimate. They reveal something heavy almost immediately. Trauma. Secrets. Stories they claim they've never told anyone. And you feel selected. Important. Trusted. But accelerated vulnerability isn't connection. It's penetration. They're bypassing time. Because time exposes character. Fast disclosure creates psychological debt. Now you feel pressure to reciprocate. You reveal weaknesses, insecurities, private details. You think you're bonding. You're building a file. Ask yourself, why would someone trust you deeply before assessing your character? They wouldn't. Unless trust isn't the goal. Speed is. Here's the test. Say no. Calmly. Briefly. Without apology. Watch their nervous system. If guilt appears, if anger surfaces, if distance becomes punishment, you were never a friend. You were a resource. That was only layer 1. The second sign is colder. The second sign, the strategic neutral. They sound intelligent. I don't take sides. I stay objective. I don't like drama. But neutrality during injustice is rarely moral. It's tactical. Imagine someone undermines you publicly. Your friend witnesses it. They know the truth. But when you need support, they hesitate. They don't want involvement. Understand this clearly. Silence is alignment. Niccolò Machiavelli warned that neutrality in conflict is self-preservation disguised as wisdom. The neutral studies power shifts. Who's stronger? Who's winning? Where is safety? If someone checks the room before checking their conscience, they are not loyal. They are adaptive. And adaptive people switch when the wind changes. The most dangerous enemies are not aggressive. They are flexible. But the third sign is the most refined. The third sign, the moral performer. This one hides behind virtue. I hate drama. I'm an empath. I'm brutally honest. The louder someone advertises goodness, the more carefully you should observe behavior. Real integrity doesn't perform. It operates quietly. The moral performer builds an image. An identity built on being perceived as good. And here's the mechanism. If you challenge them, they weaponize reputation. How could you question me? They use their image as a shield. Watch them when there's nothing to gain. Watch them when admiration disappears. Here's the experiment. Withdraw validation. Stop feeding the applause. Remove attention. If their warmth fades, if irritation leaks through, if subtle punishment begins, you have just seen the real personality. Ego without supply becomes hostile. Now the uncomfortable truth. You sensed this before. Your intuition reacted, but you suppressed it. Why? Because clarity costs comfort. Admitting someone isn't loyal means loss. And the ego would rather be betrayed than wrong. So you rationalized. You minimized. You explained away patterns. Stop doing that. This isn't paranoia. It's pattern recognition. You don't accuse. You observe. You apply pressure. Boundaries. Public positioning. Emotional withdrawal. Pressure reveals structure. Stable people remain stable. Manipulators destabilize. And once you confirm the pattern, you don't explode. You disappear. Quietly. Because confrontation feeds manipulation. Silence starves it. Reduce access. Tighten your perimeter. A small circle with proven loyalty is strength. A large circle with hidden incentives is exposure, but before removing anyone else. Audit yourself. Are you neutral when courage is required? Are you accelerating intimacy to gain control? Are you performing virtue instead of embodying it? Self-deception is the deepest vulnerability. The world doesn't reward naive men. It studies them. It also doesn't reward paranoid men. It isolates them. It rewards perceptive men. Men who observe without announcing. Men who test without warning. Men who understand that loyalty is not spoken. It is demonstrated under pressure. Ultimate power is not domination. It's clarity. Seeing people so precisely, they cannot move against you unnoticed. Walk calmly. Watch behavior. Trust repetition, not promises. And if this made you slightly uncomfortable, good. Comfort hides blind spots. And what we've discussed here is only the surface layer. There are deeper mechanisms of influence and psychological leverage that cannot be openly discussed without consequences. Those are for those who choose to look further. Most won't. That's intentional.